show place that we broadcast from is Cafe Anyway. So
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Podcastro Valentino. The last place.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
That's right. That's where we are. Hey, it's Mike Matthews singing from across the room. When you do a meeting that is on Zoom, you should not be over here, but be closer to your device and talking to that so you can be heard. It sounds nice. The last podcast was called Spackle. I forget why.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
What in the world were we talking about that involved Spackle? Wow.
Mike's
That's
Daily Podcast.
Spackle spots.
Yeah.
Spackle stocks. Spack stocks. SPAC type stocks. Got it. All right. Oh, hey, that's good news. Mike here. You know, when I do this podcast, things happen. Things take place as I am doing the podcast. And I can't stop. I'm doing this live to your ear holes, balls. Wait. Ear. No, it's a hole that goes into your head. Some of us have more than one hole in our heads. Yeah, I need a podcast like I need a hole in the head is what I'm trying to say. But no. So, this goes right into your ears is what I'm trying to tell you. And there's all kinds of fascinating things going on in this world. For example, I don't know if you heard about this, but there's all kinds of online scams going on these days. All kinds of things that to threaten you in the world because of the artificial intelligence. Do ya? By the way, if you ever want to read my tweets, I do a tweet. I tweet this podcast basically, and my handle is Mike Talks because that's what I do, like right now.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Oh, that's an excellent question. What will be today's podcast picture? Now, in recent days, I guess I've taken a lot of... The sunsets have been extraordinary in the Bay Area lately. We might do one of those. So, see that at MikesDailyPodcast.com. I was having some issues the other night with it. I got on a chat bot, or somebody, named Amrita, I think, is what their name was, and lo and behold, they were able to fix the issue. Oh, the late great Basil the Boxer. I might post a picture of the new cat, Rocky the cat. Yes, he would not approve of Rocky, but there he is, the late great Basil the Boxer. I will post a picture of Rocky. We named him Rocky because of... Oh! Let me read this tweet as I am on my tweet and the Twitter. This is from Jarrell Neme that used to be on the show. Now he goes by Sound Otaku. He said, hope you had fun with seeing Bortex and Baka Uka get a timeout. In Tropy needed a time correction himself. He's saying at 4 p.m. Eastern time, get ready for Elden Ring. This will be interesting. Elden Ring. Oh, 4 p.m. Eastern, which that was all the way back at like 11 o'clock. So, wait, what? 4 p.m. Eastern? That's right, yeah, because they're ahead of us. So, anyway, Cafe Anyway. The point is that there's this artificial intelligence thing going on. Writer Evan Ratcliffe, how many times have people messed up Evan's name? You want to just say Ratcliffe, don't you? Or Ratecliffe or something like that? No, it's Ratcliffe. Found thousands of counterfeit humans online. Now, the chat box that I talked to the other day to help get my website back on, she seemed like she was real, but I don't know. I could be fooled. I ain't no Alan Turing. I can't tell. I have no Turing test to figure it out. Can we just remember how brilliant the man was and not get all bogged down in how horrible his life ended? I guess you can't, can you? That's the problem with historical figures. Their timeless ends are timeless, and you can't, they're historical, the endings that happen. It's very, that's why they call it they call it that thing when it happens. When somebody is no longer with us. Anyway, back to this artificial intelligence. I need any kind of intelligence. And Evan Ratliff found thousands of counterfeit humans online. There's a software called Generative Adversarial Network. GAN. GAN. DOF. No, just GAN. Unlike deepfakes, GANs aren't trying to hoax a specific person. They're creating new ones, and unlike the artisanal efforts of celebrity video deepfakes, GANs are being made at volume, churned out by the millions. For example, Albertina was created by a piece of software called GAN, Generative Adversarial Network, which studies faces and then makes its own. These aren't the familiar kind of deepfakes which manipulate images of real people. GANs create non-existent people. Perhaps the Amrita I was talking to was fake. The best known deepfakes so far have been videos like one of Barack Obama, mouthing lines from Jordan Peele, and a fake Tom Cruise doing cheesy magic tricks on TikTok. As we go outside a cafe anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. 10. The last place on earth. So Ratliff's index case was Albertina, the first GAN image that drew his attention, but soon he was tracking down dozens and hundreds and thousands of them around the web, cataloging where they surfaced, the people they purported to represent. And this all comes from BusinessInsider.com. A website called thispersondoesnotexist.com went viral, and that's when GANs first entered the public spotlight. This was all the way back in 2019. Soon the code to create a GAN was so freely available that even a moderately competent programmer could build their own. Generative Photos created Albertina Geller. The company suggested the images can replace stock photos, and its terms of service prohibit use of any sort of illegal activity such as defamation, impersonation, or fraud. Starting at $2.99 a piece, you can also get an exclusive license to a particular face, a non-existent person who is yours and yours alone. Individual photos can be downloaded for free, and the site says many people have found our images useful for education, training, game development, and even dating apps. Generated photos, GANs, tend to match conventional beauty standards, a product of the models that have been fed into the software. Wow. It's like a model algorithm, but as in supermodels pushed into an algorithm to create a supermodel. Interesting.
Right? Good.
Well, there's more on that at BusinessInsider.com. Ratliff noted the most popular GANs fell into general categories: the testimonial group, the placeholders, and the vaguely nefarious. But most intriguing to him was the About Us category, companies whose entire staffs were represented by GANs. Completely people forgeries. People that aren't real. This is the industrialization of fakery, restricted only by the ambition of its creators, says Ratliff. The promise or menace of GANs lies in their sheer mundanity. Albertina is already living among us. You may just not have noticed her. The human race is now so routinely returning to the Albertina Gellers of the world for answers to our questions, trivial and profound, that perhaps we no longer care who or what is behind the image. Fascinating. And let's see, there was something else that states decide on vaccination requirements for school children. I won't go into that, but the midterm elections are coming up. And oh, by the way, speaking of which, I just got the what do they call it? Bivalent vaccine. And out of all the vaccines, it did not bother me that much. I did have to take a Tylenol that night, but I got that along with the flu shot. One in one arm, one in the other. You can't do them both in the same arm. Anyway, not where I was. So they said one or the other. And I did that, and I am feeling okay. I did not have a tremendous reaction. The first shot I had, the first COVID vaccine, I did feel sick. I got a temperature. I had a hard time sleeping for some reason. But then ever since all the boosters and everything else, the second shot, everything has been fine. But that's me. You may be different. Who knows? And there's all kinds of stories pertaining to children getting the vaccine and all that. I'm not going to go into that because I don't have children. But if you have children and you would like to chime in, you can call me 336-MM Daily. That's 3 + 3 = 6. MM is in Mike Matthews. Daily is in what this podcast tries to be. Has not been for a couple of days. I've been busy. All kinds of issues. About 20 states will allow same-day voter registration for the 2022 midterm elections. In others, voters will need to register before the deadline. Check the voter registration deadline in your state. I believe we have a deadline that may or may not have just passed. But I know there's a deadline early on for California. Other states, I believe, Alaska, Oregon, Arizona, I think they have same-day voting. Many states changed their election laws in response to the COVID-19 pandemic and then changed them again following the 2020 election with a certain some person didn't want to accept the voting results because they never lose. So
that's enough. Put down the mic.
You might have to know the laws in your state that if they have changed or not. And there is a website called usafacts.org that has those rules all set up for you if you want to check that. And then there's also ballotpedia.org and others to check out if you need help. I am trying so much to get familiarized with all of our propositions going on here in California. It is pretty difficult. And finally, this. Winky has sent me an email to MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. She was a friend of my mom's. Would go out to lunch with her and several other ladies. My late mother, who passed away in February. I had never spoken to Winky until I had to give her the sad news about my mom. And then we emailed back and forth. And she said, I'm going to start sending, I put you on my mailing list. And you and the 10 other people I send emails to, you're going to get my goofy emails. And I go, my mom enjoyed your emails so much. Please do. Please send them. She tends to send them on Friday nights, I'm noticing. But this one she sent had a couple of funny sayings. Like, the most expensive vehicle to operate by far is the Costco shopping cart. That's true on many labels. Yesterday, my husband thought he saw a cockroach in the kitchen. He sprayed everything down and cleaned thoroughly. Today, I'm putting the cockroach in the bathroom. What? Maybe that will hit me later. Technically, Moses was the first person with a tablet downloading data from the cloud. I hate it when I can't figure out how to operate the iPhone and the resident tech expert is asleep because he's 5 and it's past his bedtime. It's past his bedtime. Let's see. I just paid for a 12-month gym membership. Oh, by the way, the guy that started Gold's Gym apparently has died in a plane crash. And my dad used to tell me about him. I wonder if it's the same guy. About the, let's see. Yeah. Let's see, in the news, I just heard that plane wreckage. That was a German tycoon. Oh, no, that's not the guy. Rainer Schaller. I think whoever started Gold's Gym, like back in the 50s, my dad might have met him. But I just paid for a 12-month gym membership. My bank called to see if my credit card was stolen. Yeah, exactly. I hate gym memberships. Just a waste of time. You sign it up thinking, oh, this is going to change my life. And then, nope. I know some of you may do CrossFit. I am not a fan. I don't get it. I know it gets you into incredible shape, and if that's what you want to do, more power to you, but really, wow. They go overboard. I think people push themselves a little too hard with that. This is FF episode 2509, 2509. We will try and explore more of the hilarity that Winky has sent. Like 2 things to make your day better: do not watch the news and stay off the bathroom scales. Hey, look who's outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcaster Valley. The last place on earth. Hello, my commercial. It's Madame Rootabega on the east. I don't know what time it is on the East Coast. Oh, let's see. I think it's actually 9:40 at the moment. So. That is very good, Mike Matthews. Oh. Do you like egg rolls? Yes. Do you like cold coffee? Yes. Do you like to dance? No. What? Everybody likes to dance, don't they? No? Look who else is here.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do it!
Mike, I'm really happy that you are doing this podcast today because it's been a while since you did one day.
Yeah! Why? Do it! Because, let's see. The last one was it on Tuesday? I think it might have been on Tuesday evening. Wednesday things got a little crazy at my house. We'll just say that. I needed my car. My lovely lady friend showed up late and made me late to what I was going to because I let my lovely lady friend borrow the car. And I am having a discussion with her about, hey, you can't be late when I need the car a certain time, and I tell you that ahead of time. You got to be on time. And she's like, okay, all right. And I'm being rather stern and trying to get the stuff out because she picked up a bunch of stuff from the store. I'm trying to get stuff out of the car, and stuff is flying everywhere. And right at that moment, I got this neighbor, very nice lady from up the street, young lady. She and her husband married a few years back. Now they've got 2 kids already. A little one that's actually walking and a baby in the carriage, and I'm having a conniption, as my dad used to say, and this right at that moment, this lady's walking by. So then things. It took Thursday evening for us to work it all out. Sometimes everybody just needs to calm down. It takes a while to calm down. But one thing somebody suggested, Ken, who's been on the show before, you need to give whoever it is you're having the argument with, I mean, if it's a loved one, you need to give them a hug. Let everybody cool down and then give them a hug. And that seems to get things started on the right foot. Mr. Relationship Advice, Ken. I thanked him for that. Yesterday, very busy day, very sad day. A football player at San Jose State University died when they were on their electric scooter and got into an accident involving a bus, and they died, and that caused since they were on the football team, they were only 18. The football team decided to cancel the game today, which we were going to broadcast on one of the radio stations that I manage, and so I had to take care of, replacing the programming. But that also that just bummed everybody out. That was just so sad. Do people still use the expression bummed out? Well, at any rate, it's very sad news, and that shouldn't happen. It involved an electric scooter and a bus. And just, I hope little earbuds were not involved. You should, if you're on a fast vehicle where you have no protection, like an electric scooter, definitely you got to have your ears uncovered, available to any noise and sound, especially that of a bus. You've got to really protect yourself. You're just out there in the open, flying super fast. And in a city, it would happen in San Jose, so where all kinds of things are going on. And by the way, San Jose has had a crazy amount, a suspiciously high amount of pedestrian deaths, bicyclists getting killed, a lot of, what do they call that? Surface street accidents. And collisions. It's just unnecessary, and people, I don't know what the answer is. I think people just need to be a lot more alert. And I don't think they are, between all the distractions we have with our cell phones and music and just electronics in general taking up our time, and people not realizing, hey, this is a weapon. This is as bad a weapon as a gun, and it may end your life if you are. And all we got to do is be careful. That's all we got to do, is be extra careful as we're driving around or whatever it is. But anyway, time now for this little segment called Let's Go Back with Matthews. I once upon a time, I got started in the radio biz. I had high hopes, Big Apple Sky and the pie in the sky hopes. And I was on this here station. Let's see, what is this? Oh, I was once on a comedy station. Did I play this before? Let's see. I was on a comedy station called KMDY, Comedy Radio.
So if you're dreaming of a new Honda, now's the time to go see Honda of Oxnard.
Oh, wow. I think that is probably the first car commercial for a radio station that I ever did.
Your tax refund would probably make a nice down payment.
Yes, it would. If we get back in the days when I got tax refunds.
Lion-hearted knights, their magnificent battle horses, knaves, court jesters, fair maidens, and food and frolic for the whole family. Arts and crafts, and the continuous entertainment all weekend long. Experience.
Wow. That was Mike trying to do a British accent back in the day. Not my best moment. Oh, and I used to do a thing. Let's go back to 1996. When I was on the radio, in 1996, I was on a country station. Actually, I was on KHA for 11 years. And I did this thing called the Top 8 at 8. I did that that must have been for 11 years as well. I'd count down the 8 biggest songs of the day, and I'd do kind of a Casey Kasem thing, talking about the big songs, the top songs. It was a country station, so yes, all country artists.
Call the KH Concert and Entertainment Line 24 hours a day at 642-8595 extension 101, as in Country 101.
Oh. I don't know if that number still works.
Spontaneous combustion tour.
Obviously, I am thrilled beyond belief to be out here working with Tim and his incredible management team and organization.
I think that is Faith Hill. This is before she got married. And she was touring with Tim, and they ended up falling in love. And I think they ended up having a baby. I think she was pregnant before they got married. But yeah, and I think I think he had all daughters, didn't he? And I know one of them is trying to be a country singer.
It is George Strait with Blue Clear Sky on 100.7 KHAY, 10 in a row, continuous new country. Matt Michaels here, got Trisha Yearwood coming up, Aaron Tippin, Lone Star, Blackhawk, and the KH Concert guy. Thursday.
Wow. I don't hear the top 8 at 8 anywhere in this, but...
If anybody missed Henry Paul of Blackhawks signing autographs at Blackhawks booth at Fanfare last year, it was because he had to rush off to a meeting with a young lady. As soon as the group had finished their performance at the Arista Label show, a police escort rushed Paul to the Nashville airport. His oldest daughter was graduating from high school in Brandon, Florida that night, and he had to catch the last flight that would get him there on time to see her get her diploma.
Number 6.
There you go. So that was it. That's how it's kind of sounded like. The band Black Hawk. They were now I live near a town called Black Hawk. It was 3 guys. One of them, Van Stevenson, he passed away, but Henry Paul sang most of the songs. And that's a little bit of what I used to do back in the day on the country radio. And now, our final segment on this podcast called Mike's Daily Podcast. This is called the Mike Matthews New Tunes Feud, where 2 songs are going to duke it out. By the way, dukes. Duke refers to your hands. That's right. It was a term we used for hands. And Duke of York was a fork. There was something to do with fork. So it was Duke of York. Hand and fork is what they were. There was some kind of relation with that. What? Yes, that's what I read in the way our language developed. Dukes and Duke of York has something in common. And put up your dukes is for boxing, so put up your hands. Dukes, hands, that kind of thing. And York and fork was somehow they were connected some way, probably because they rhyme. That's probably about it. Okay, here we go. This song is called it's by a band called Tracer. And Tracer, this is somebody named Gene. Gene wrote me. Okay. Making this record helped me stay above water instead of going to the bottom, or at least make peace somewhere in between. I think I was trying to convince myself it'll all be okay. Or if it's not that, maybe that's okay too. Like that quote, find what you love and let it kill you. I've never heard that quote. That sums it up pretty good for me. Little Idea is a song about wanting something and hoping it wants you back. Okay, that is Gene talking about that song that is on an album called Tracer. And let's see if SoundCloud is nice to me, if it lets me play a little bit for you here. I better stop right there because last time I played a little too much of the song and YouTube made me take it out. So I don't want to do that. So that's Gene. And here is another song by somebody named Mike H. Oh, hey, I'm a Mike H too. Mike H. Matthews. All right. It says, hi, Mike. I'm thrilled to share my debut solo EP with you, Golden Hour, First Things First. Okay, let's see if it lets me play a little bit of this album called Golden Hour. We'll try and play it off of YouTube. Okay, Mike H. Or is it Mike A? This is called Walking Hill.
Walk up to the shade of gray, same color as every day.
Walking Hill. All right, so which one did you like better? Gene or Mike H? Or Mike A? I don't know how you say it. You can call me 336MM Daily. 3 plus 3 equals 6. MM as in Mike Matthews Daily, as in what this podcast tries to be. Let's see how long I can keep it going now with all the stuff. Life gets in the way. Life interrupts you. Things happen, and that's okay. As long as you're okay with it, that's good. Hey, tell all your friends about this podcast and where to reach me. And how do you reach me? Here's A-Frame to tell you.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com.
Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!